wellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives.
You're listening to A Quirky Journey, the healthy family podcast with your hosts Jo Whitten and Leah Follett. Welcome to A Quirky Journey. Join us as we share our family's journeys to good health. You'll find plenty of inspiration, tips and recipe ideas, as well as stories from everyday people who've struggled and overcome health problems and diet challenges in their own families. I'm Jo Whitten, author of the blog and book Quirky Cooking, and today my darling friend Leah is back with me. We've had a bit of a break because she's been so busy, and she's going to... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm gushing. I want to hug you through the phone line. Can we do that? Oh, snuggles.
I missed you. Well,
snuggles.
Yay. Leah's going to tell us the big story about what she's been up to. So I'm sure you've all missed her because she's been away a few weeks, but I can hear the lovely birds in the background there.
I know. I found myself in paradise.
Oh, it sounds beautiful. And it's sunny, is it?
It is.
You're not freezing?
The house is freezing. The house is freezing. And yesterday I had the fire on all day.
Oh, at least you've got a fireplace. That's good.
Well, I do, but, it only ends up heating one end of the house. So
you kind of sit in front of it, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We do. So it's still cold in the bedroom. So I'm outside. And the next door neighbour's dog's just turned up, so the neighbour must be around on the property somewhere.
Okay.
Oh, good day. Hello, darling. Yes, good morning. So, yes, I've got two border collies and a retriever with me as well. So we're all sitting in the sun.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Sounds beautiful. It's very sunny here too. I bet it's colder down your way, though. I heard that there was snow down in south somewhere, Queensland, today. Stanthorpe.
Oh, Stanthorpe. Well, yeah, I've had other people tell me that, but I'm still out of the loop.
You've got no internet.
I've got no internet. Oh, but that's a whole other story.
Yes.
Just and I don't even know whether I'm going to get internet. Oh. I'm now panicking, officially panicking.
Okay, that's scary.
Yeah, it is. It is. What am I going to do?
You'll be going into town and hanging around McDonald's to use the internet, won't you?
No, I don't even think I could do that. But as soon as I find out where the library is, maybe I'll be able to go in and do that. But yeah, just burning up my download and stuff on my contract, and I've had to top it up a few times, and it's just to do. And I'm bare minimum. I've not done a newsletter. I've not done any videos. I've not done anything. The kids have got no internet, so their little throats are cut at the moment. They're starved, the poor babies.
Yes, I'd hate to think what my kids would be doing. No. Okay, well, everybody, we're going to just have a very chatty podcast today, and I'm sure you won't mind because they're
the best kind.
Yeah, and Leah's got lots to tell us. So tell us what you've been doing.
Okay, all right. So let's do a bit of a story. So, I'm a big believer in setting intentions and putting it out there, and you and I both use, quite a lot of prayer and meditation in our practice and whatever. But, just be prepared that what you put out there is going to come back to you. So if you're setting out the good stuff, you're going to get the good stuff. And I tell you, in the last month, we've had the good stuff just come in a big way.
Bucket loads.
So it started with Mark and I both see an energy healer, and we have a mutual friend, which I had never met. And I got a random text message that said, heard that you'd like to give your, children a better opportunity. The city's hard for kids and all of that sort of stuff. I want to know if you'd like to rent our house from us in the bush. And so I'm just like, okay, I've never met this person. I don't know who she is. Turns out she stalked me on Instagram, decided that I would be perfect to have on her property. There are a few dwellings on this property, and she decided, she's a health coach as well, and she decided that we would be perfect arrangement on her little commune as such. So immediately I said yes. And then I had to ring Mark and tell Mark I was moving.
My husband would kill me.
So he just sat there. He never answers the phone. So that was like an amazing moment in itself because it rang and I'm just like, I really don't want to tell him by text, that I'm moving because I was so excited. I was going to tell him come hell or high water.
Yeah.
And I just, he picked up the phone and I said, guess what? And he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm moving. So he was a little shocked, but, within 2 minutes he decided that, yes, this was this is what I had wanted, like I had set my focus and intentions on after the project that Mark was on. I was going to move to this place, and this is actually in the region that I had set my intentions on. Within 15 kilometres of the town I had set my intentions on. And this just popped up. It was just one of those moments. So it took me, 5 minutes to make a decision, 10 minutes to tell my husband, and then I rang and booked a removal truck.
Wow.
And when I rang because we always use the same removal truck and the same guys, and I rang them and I said, Paul, I'm moving. And he's like, yay. And he said, where are you moving to? And I'm like, I don't know. So I knew the town I was moving to, but I had no address.
Oh, that's funny.
I suppose she didn't have any photos of the property that she could show me, and she's saying, yeah, I think it's a 3-bedroom. No, it might be a 4-bedroom. Anyway, it'll be fine. You'll love it. Once you get there, you'll love it. So it took me 2 weeks turnaround to pack up the house, find Mark somewhere else to live in the city because he's now commuting up to the Gold Coast airport every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And, well, it's actually cheaper for us to rent a place here for us and the kids and then put him in, accommodation elsewhere and fly him home every fortnight than it was to be where we're actually living.
Wow.
So financially it was a real blessing that this sort of came up. But the other thing that we've since realised is if the kids and I are up here, Mark doesn't have to work a full-time job. So he's got a passion for music and wellness, and that was part of the reason why this coach offered me this place up here, is because we want to transition Mark out of his engineering career and into something he's really passionate about, so he can be a part of, the change that so many people are looking for at the moment. So anyway, he's going to work, he's dwindling down his work to a couple of days a week, and now he's going to transition into what I'm doing up here. And so far we haven't been able to look ahead because we haven't had time to scratch and actually count our chickens and see who's here and what's around. We just moved.
Yes.
We just moved.
So have you been there for a week or so now?
Yeah, it's been 10 days.
Okay.
So 10 days here.
You're
and it was just
in?
like... Well, yeah.
Ish.
Mark hasn't been around. It's been 2 weeks now. So he still hadn't seen the house up until 2 days ago.
Wow.
So we moved, the kids and I moved up in the, we brought stuff up in the truck, and we had a truck come and we've unpacked and set up, and I've had all the other crazy things happen, like hot water system not working, electricity not coming on, no internet. Then I had a little mini flood from a leak underneath the kitchen sink, and the first thing in me is like, ring Mark. So I ran out and rang Mark, and he said, go and turn the water off at the mains. So then I was looking around in the front of the garden looking for the mains to turn it off, and then after about half an hour I realised, because it was like 11 o'clock at night, I realised, and I couldn't find a torch because I hadn't unpacked. So I had my iPhone and I was trying to find with my little torch on my iPhone where the mains was, and then I remembered that I was actually on tank water. And I had to just go and turn it off at the pump at the tank.
It's a learning curve.
Hi Jingles, how you doing? I'm just recording a podcast. I'll talk to you in a sec. You're down in the tank. Yeah. So we've got a crack in the water tank, and the next door neighbour's coming across to fix that. And so I've just landed myself like I am in
bush.
I'm in bush.
I bet you're loving
koalas
it.
And koalas, and there's horses everywhere. We've seen wallabies, and we're still on the coast, so it's not that far to the beach. And, the energy here and the people here is just amazing. It's just so much slower than Sydney, and so much more relaxed, I suppose. And people are just so driven with their properties and what they're producing. Oh, my gosh, the other day, you know how expensive avocados can get, right?
Yeah.
I got 5 for $2.
Yep, that's what we get up here.
Okay, all right. Well, Sydney, I'd pay $8 for one.
What?
Yeah, that's what I would pay off season, $8 for one avocado.
Oh, my goodness.
Insane.
That is very insane.
But all the little property owners around here have got their little roadside stalls.
Yep.
And I got pecan nuts. I got half a kilo pecan nuts for $2.
Yay.
And I got bananas. And it's like I hardly need to go and get anything.
You're going to save money living there, aren't you?
I am. So Mark Mark's going to be, we're going to be able to facilitate his move and his want and desire to work alongside me, which is going to be brilliant, just in making this move. So, like if you've got a dream, a hope, or whatever you want to do, you set the intention and be prepared to jump on the opportunity when it rocks around, because it does.
Well, I think that's the thing, a lot of times we say, I wish, I want, I hope, but we don't actually do anything about it. And it's like when the opportunity came for you, a lot of people, including probably myself, would be like, "Oh, that's a really big thing," "Oh, I don't know if
Where
I
am
should."
I going? I don't know the address.
It's kind of like I haven't seen the house. I've got to, and sometimes you can be not careful enough, but a lot of times you're too careful and you just don't do anything because you're scared. And I love that saying, say yes and figure it out later, or whatever it is. Have you heard that one?
Yeah. I say yes and panic, though.
Say yes and work it out later.
Other people can work it out. I just panic. I'm just like,
you did pretty well. And so
I did pretty well.
So I'm interested in all the food stuff. How are you going with, because you had things so sorted in Sydney, you worked out where everything was. Now you've got to start again, hey?
I know, but it took me 3 weeks to work out where everything was in Sydney, and this is going to be just the same. And so I haven't been to the farmers markets yet.
Is there one close by?
Well, we're sort of so Byron is probably 40 minutes drive away. I suppose I haven't driven there yet. And then there's Murwillumbah, and they've got, they're only 20 minutes away, and they've got a few stores, but I'm not sure of where the actual farmers markets are, and I've just been grabbing bits and pieces. So I've been relying on good old Woolworths, and I'm actually surprised to say in 12 months of not shopping at a Woolworths and not doing any of that, because we've been so lucky and blessed in Sydney with all the farmers markets and all the produce coming in from, rural settings, that in going to my Woolworths here, they had maybe 15 or 20 items that I would buy.
Yeah.
I was really surprised in the produce. That's a huge jump.
I think they've realised that a lot of people want organic and healthy, and they are getting more of that kind of thing in. Like you can get the organic berries and organic veggies frozen, as well as the fresh organic veggies, and there's more in the health food aisle. And so, there's a lot of stuff that I skip whole aisles, but you can get some things there. So that is a blessing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So I haven't quite worked out where I am, but I've made contact with a farmer. I think he's called the Farm Door Providor.
Oh, good.
Farm Gate Providor. So I've got to go and see him and find out what he's got going on in his paddocks and what he's growing and what we can get. So at the moment, it kind of feels a bit icky, because I'm getting my chickens and they're all covered in plastic again, and they're sitting, on the shelf at Woolworths, and I don't know where they've come from per se, and all that other stuff. But
you do what you can where you are with what you got.
Well, you do, and I think I've been so spoilt that I forgot how hard it was for other families that don't have access to that, or don't connect in that way.
You should really write down everything that you're doing to find the supplies you need now, because people who may not have just moved but are just new to this way of eating, they don't know where to begin with. Well, how do I start finding a provider? How do I start finding a good butcher? How do I look for these places? And I find this over and over again when I do seminars around the country, that people don't know where to get stuff. So we always do a bit of a brainstorming session at the end of each seminar, so that everyone can share where they get things, because people just... Yeah, a lot of times they don't know that if you go down the road on Saturday, sit on this corner, there's a guy selling fresh eggs or whatever,
Yeah, well, that's true. And I've just got to work that out. And, the only way I'm going to work that out is, and tapping into your community that you've actually got. So I've just got to find that at the moment. And normally I would hit up the homeschool community here.
Yes.
But okay.
Next
so
big news.
Say,
dun.
I know, it's huge news. Okay.
It's huge.
So backtracking 3 years, the reason why, one of the contributing reasons why we decided we we're going to be a homeschool family, was because with all the anxiety and nerves that William was experiencing at school, he wasn't absorbing his food. Everything was moving through his system too quickly because he was going through the flight response. Because he constantly feared for himself and he wasn't making connections and he didn't feel safe. Yeah. So part of his healing process was to take him out of school and get him relaxed into his own skin and then sort of retrain him, I suppose. And we did a lot of behaviour therapy stuff. And, for William, making eye contact was a struggle. And then because he wasn't doing that, he wasn't reading people's intentions, I suppose. He couldn't tell the difference between a smile and a sneer and wasn't picking up inflection in people's voices. So he had to go and retrain all of that.
And that's hard with school, with making friends.
It is.
Because you don't get what other kids are meaning.
No. Well, you can't work out, are you a true friend or are you taking advantage of me?
Yes.
So, and then when is that child saying enough is enough? Like, when do you want me to stop playing, or when do we start playing?
Yes.
So all that stuff was, that just regular playground stuff for William was highly anxious time and, not eating at school and, all those other scary bits and pieces. And he had issues with fluoro lights in the classroom and, he was wearing sunglasses everywhere and it was just, and the noise and, all that stuff just played on him. So we took him out and homeschooled. And I moved up here and I had an inkling that this might be his big time to jump off and change. But on Monday morning this week, he said to me, I had all my school stuff ready to go for this term, all my resources, all my planning. And he said to me, got out of bed and he said, I think I want to go to school today. And
I bet you nearly fell off your chair.
No, but I did snort my hot chocolate up my nose and out a bit. So, it
lovely.
was, I was blowing that out my nose until about 10 o'clock, I reckon.
Gross.
So, I like to use a visual because,
it
helps the story along. It's fine. We spoke about that for the morning and then we went down to the school and we had driven past the school a few times and he'd asked questions.
Yeah.
But then he just decided that he wanted to go and in his own self, he made up his mind that he was going to go till Christmas and then he was going to decide if he wanted to be a homeschool kid again or what he was going to do. But, of course, my little redhead rolled out of bed and he's as bold as, and he's like, right, we're going to school. Brilliant. Bring it on. He's
that's
just
hilarious.
So pumped. And we went and enrolled and got some uniforms and I brought them home and washed them up and then went.
So you did that on the Monday?
On the Monday.
Straight off?
It's on the Monday straight off. And the scary thing is, well, actually it's not scary. It's more shocking, I suppose, is that we had this kid that we had to set up all this scaffolding, just to get him from A to B, all these transitional issues, and we used visual cues and everything was amazing. So structured. And for him to roll out of bed and just go, I'm going to school tomorrow, and then want to go to school and make a decision for himself, it's what you hope for your kids, that they can work off their gut feeling and make a choice that's beneficial to them and to their happiness. And that's exactly what he's done. And
it really just shows that the really hard slog that you have put in for the last 3 or 4 years has really, really done its job.
Well, it has. And, yourself, you can't rush the food intervention. You can't rush the therapy. You can't rush any of those things. And for William, Gabriel was, he had his own little thing going on. His was a lot because he was younger and we knew what we were doing from the get-go. It wasn't such a big issue. But for William, we just had so much to undo and reverse, and it was all environmental. It was, so much of his genetics and so much of the way his body was working on the cellular level. And once we got that piece by piece and undid that little bit extra, now we've got this kid that he's just taken himself up to school. So I took them to the office, and when I turned around, both kids are gone. They'd never even said goodbye.
What? Oh, my goodness, that's
they went
so
and found,
amazing.
No, didn't even say. They both had backpacks, and oh my gosh, Gabriel getting a backpack for school. It was like he got his uniform on and put his backpack on, and then he couldn't sit in his chair to have his breakfast because his backpack was in the way. And it's like, well, take it off. No. And then getting in the car, he was carrying on like a pork chop because I couldn't get my seatbelt done up, and I can't do it. And turn around, and he's got his backpack on in his car seat. And just those sorts of things. So to see them so charged up about what they're committing to and what they're going to be doing is just it's amazing. And I don't think, like, they never ever mentioned anything about schooling till moving here. And it's just the environment here, it's so clean and so calm and relaxed, and you know, everyone's just in their own space and their own time, and they've just got their, you know, like, no one's watching other people's grass grow. It's just you run your own race kind of attitude.
It's the right kind of place for them to go to school. Is it a big school or?
There's 260 kids.
Oh, that's a nice size.
And the best thing ever, I sat in there, the interview thing, and I sat there and I said to the principal, you know, okay, so what can't we bring to school as far as food? And she said, oh, you can bring whatever you want. There was no nut or seed policy. Oh, yeah. No eggs. And I said, so you haven't got allergies at school? And she said, no, we've got allergies, but it's the parents and the children's responsibility to be educated and make their own choices. I almost fell off my chair. I grabbed her hands from across the table in the meeting room and held her both hands, and I'm just like, I can't believe it. And she just turned around and she said, oh my gosh, I'm so scared right now. And I said, why? And she said, I thought you were going to jump across the table and go me. She was worried I was going to lash out and get up, because it was so just funny. Such a total body response. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
You're
going
from
well, it was so hard. Funny. It was so hard. 3 years ago, it was so hard. Couldn't have eggs, couldn't have nuts, couldn't have seeds. You know, like, couldn't have all these things.
Makes it just so easy that they can eat the food that you're used to.
And you know what the crazy thing is? William came home with a school camp permission slip.
What?
He's going to camp.
Oh my goodness. That is pretty amazing.
5 days.
Are you going?
5 days. Well, I said, do you want parent helpers? And they're just like, no, we don't do that. That's fine. I'm just like, oh, my gosh. So, you know, part of me wants to go back to the old me and just do all the scaffolding and the preparation and the transition stuff. And then the other part of me is kind of like,
time to let go a bit.
I want to let him, you know, it's kind of sink or swim.
He's growing his wings.
I know.
That is so exciting.
I know. And, you know, in his own time and in his own way. And
that's right. And that's the thing. I think if we let them go bit by bit, and when they're ready, they're a lot stronger. Yeah. And I think you've built that up for so long.
Yeah.
And you've done it the right way, obviously, because you haven't held him in and said, you know, be scared of the world. You've said, let's get you ready for the world.
Yeah, in an unconscious kind of way. For me, it was a lot of scrambling and a lot of, okay, this feels right today, but I don't know if it's right for tomorrow. So it's go with your gut instinct and just keep, you know, make sure there's an intense amount of love in everything I do, and try not to show them my fear. Yeah. Because, you know, like, if I'm fearful, if I'm kind of, you know, scared and I'm worried, then they're going to feel that, and then they're going to be considering that there is something to be fearful of. So I've sort of been, just trying to stay calm in my own self through all of this, and just not going into, what about this and what about that? I've just been putting it out of my mind.
And taking it one day at a time too, I suppose.
Well, yeah. So I'm kind of waiting to see how they go, because like all things in, you know, autism, or, you know, like in social arrangements, you know what your limits are, and I suppose I'm waiting to see where the bucket is filled to, and what the tipping point is. So, you know, like, there's a classroom with off-gassing furniture, there's fluoro lights, there's stinky pens, there's cosmetics, and there's perfumes and deodorants and all that, and the noise. And so I'm waiting to see where the tipping point is for him. And I think if we get there, then maybe he'll just have, you know, like maybe, I haven't even thought about it, but I suppose I'd possibly have him off, you know, send him 2 days, have him home Wednesday, send him another 2 days. But I really don't want to, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I just keep supporting him with his food, making sure he's getting adequate sleep, making sure we've got the downtime, and
and when he gets home,
you know, that
I suppose you give him some space for quiet time and stuff. Do you?
Well, he's gone back to doing that himself. Well, he used to.
I remember you saying about him doing that.
Yeah, he used to pace up and down a retaining wall 50 times and make noises. Well, he's gone back to doing that in a way. So he does that before school and after school as part of his processing time. And just making sure that Gabriel's not in his face when he is doing that.
Yeah.
But, there's 25 acres here. He can just go and do that wherever he likes.
That's so good. He can take the dogs for a walk.
He can take the dogs for the walk. He's got, responsibilities. He's got chickens to look after while the neighbours are away.
And that's therapeutic in itself.
Well, it is. I'm kind of trying to convince him that mowing is therapeutic.
Yes, that's a good idea. He can pace back and forth while he pushes the mower.
That's my idea. That's exactly what my idea is. Well, no, we haven't, because, the noise of the lawnmower. So
earmuffs, yeah.
Yeah, earmuffs. So, we're going to try that out on the weekend and see if we can get him mowing, because, this used to be a turf farm, apparently.
Oh.
So it's quite flat and there's quite a lot to mow.
Maybe you need a ride on, then he might get more excited.
Yeah, no, there is a ride on and we do have access to it, but I'm not going anywhere near that.
Wait till Mark gets there.
Yeah. And even then I think someone else comes and does that.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's like the owners are away and, the neighbours are coming in and it's just such a supportive little community that everyone's checking on everyone else. And,
that's really lovely.
Like Jingles popped over before. I love him. Jingles. His name is Jingles.
That's amazing.
I know. And his brother's name's Professor.
Really?
So I know. It's crazy.
Well, do you know what my grandfather's name was? His real name?
What?
Smiles.
Smiles.
Yeah, that's his real name.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that nice? I didn't name one of my kids after him. I didn't know if that would go down well, but it's such a cute name. And it totally suited him.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
But yes, everyone's coming in and it's just like the cars pull up in the driveway and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Oh, we're just fixing the tank. That's what Jingles has been working on all week. And then there's someone else from the other side of next door comes over and does something else. And
that's good.
So, everyone's really looking out for everyone else.
Really nice, supportive community. I hope that the kids really fit in well. It sounds like they will.
I think they will. But just in their own skin to be calm enough and to have the space and have the time to make a decision like going back to school. But I tell you, I'm the one suffering. Let's not talk about the children. Let's talk about me.
Yes, okay. How are you doing? What do you mean you're suffering? You can sit there with a cuppa all day and a book.
I know. You know how we were discussing one day, we were saying, I don't know how these mothers get the blogs done in a day and they get them written and edited and with photos and get them uploaded. I could be one of those mothers if I had internet.
Yeah, I know. You totally
can't be. But it's just... I feel like a part of my identity has gone missing. Okay,
well, now you can write that book.
Well, I've written one. I'm halfway through my second one and I've already started my third.
Okay.
And I switched between the things.
Watch out, we're going to have a whole library by the end of the year.
Oh, yes, it's a series. It's a companion series, yeah. But, being part of the homeschool community, and that was my biggest resource, was to just pop in there and find out where everyone's going and what the activities are and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, I've got to rely and integrate back into a different community. So part of my I don't know, I don't want to say branding, but part of what's the word?
I know what you mean.
Part of who I am and part of who we are as a family has changed because my kids have just flown.
I think I would feel totally lost. I'd be the same because homeschooling's such a big part of our life.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it just changed so quickly.
Yeah, overnight.
Really quickly. Overnight.
Wow.
Literally overnight. So in the last 3 weeks, it's been move, pack, unpack, and then the kids go to school. So everything has changed in the last 3 weeks. And I suppose actually talking to you, this is the first real phone call I've had with anyone since I've been here where I've actually considered, wow.
That's a big thing.
I've actually done quite a lot in the last 3 weeks.
Yes,
and
you have.
I'm still surviving. I'm not babbling. Well, actually I do babble. But I'm not ready to be committed into any institution. So
you should probably
just amazing that just with that one little thing, that one
that's just
sorry, you go.
No, I'm just thinking that this is a really good time for you to just really be able to relax now that you've got your beloved countryside as well as some time alone each day. So that's just awesome.
It's bizarre, but I haven't had it for such a long time, and I've never had it from Gabriel. Like, he has always been
stuck to your side
with me.
Yeah.
And now he's not here. So, the poor old dog is being dragged everywhere. She's my new best friend.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so many changes, and I just haven't quite downloaded and worked it all out.
Yeah.
And what it all means yet.
Well, we'll love to see how the kids go with school. I reckon you've just given them such a good foundation that they'll just be amazing at school.
Well, I hope so. But William came home on day one and told me he had a girlfriend.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I just I was sitting there driving and I'm okay,
Already?
So what do you say to that?
Don't ask me.
She's my girlfriend, and I'm just, okay, you went and met these kids when I dropped you off, and by morning tea you had a girlfriend, and he said, yeah, but she's only my girlfriend at morning tea because at lunch I've got to play footy with the boys, and she can't play. It's just for boys. It's our own game. I'm just like, oh no.
I guess he means girlfriend in the simplest sense of the word, a girl that's a friend. So don't panic too much.
Well, I haven't been game to ask or venture into that, whether or not that's what the meaning is or the interpretation. I don't know that I want to know. I'm not ready to know. I'm just going to block that out. Yeah. I'm just going to turn the music up in the stereo. Yep, keep talking, Will. Just turn the music up and just listen to whatever I'm listening to. So, the kids are doing really good, and we haven't had any tears. But I'm wondering, another mother sort of said, wait until the 2-week point until, the fascination wears off. Mm. So there are all these things that I'm kind of going to have to look out for.
Well, that's true. A couple of years ago, I was just so overwhelmed with all my work that we decided to send the kids to school a day a week, and then it went to 2 days a week at the local private school that we were homeschooling through. And at first it was all very exciting, and it did wear off for our kids, and they got to where they just dreaded going every day and wanted to be at home again. So it only lasted 2 terms. But hey, even if your kids may be totally different, and it may be, I think it's different. And like you say, you've got to give them the choice and let them decide what they want to do. And my kids decided to come back home, and I gave up one of my jobs, and so I had more time.
Well, yeah, that could be it. We could be a homeschool family after Christmas. You just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. And it's all part of their learning process though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But what a shock, hey?
Shock.
Now I'm back making lunchboxes again. What's with that?
So now you can put photos of your lunchboxes on your page for all the people that need help with them.
I'm just sitting there going, oh my gosh, how am I going to get all the fats into this? So I'm back making lunchboxes, and I found myself Googling stuff.
Once you've been doing it for a couple of weeks, you can do a podcast on healthy lunchboxes with lots of good fats.
Well, I'm actually struggling with trying to get the good fats in. I'm doing all the homemade stuff, so I'm making homemade tubes, but they're more being a gelatin-based thing. I suppose they're higher in protein and collagen stuff than fats. Yeah. So I'm doing those, and I've made some, some bicky type things that are very oily and chewy, and obviously the avocados and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
They do get a couple of breaks at least, so they do have time to fill up again.
Yeah, but they're just that was one of William's things, was there was so much going on sound wise that he couldn't actually calm and eat.
Okay.
So he's been eating quite a lot of breakfast, and I know that William can go 5 hours without eating, because we drove back from Canberra. I left the lunch the travel pack at home and got halfway to Canberra from Sydney and went, oh no. So I know that he can handle 5 hours without anything at all. So it's just, I'm packing minimal snacks, and when he gets home he's ready for dinner. So he's having an early dinner, and then he's just having just a snack before bed, I suppose, or when dinner time is normally.
I'm finding that sort of thing with Simi, because he'll go off to soccer for hours, because it's in Cairns, which is an hour and a half drive, and I was finding he was coming home. I'd make all this food for him and a thermos full of stuff, and he'd come home and the thermos was still full, and I'd find it a day later, and I'd be so cranky because I'd worked hard to get him this lunch. And he said, I just don't have time to eat it when I'm down there, Mum, and I can't eat in the car because it'll spill. And
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, then I'm going to give him a big, delicious, fatty, healthy, nutritious meal before he leaves, and have another one ready for when he gets home, and then just send him some fruit and nuts and very basic stuff, water. And that's actually working better for us. And I think a lot of kids are like that, aren't they? That they go to school and don't eat much, or go out and don't eat much.
Yeah, well, they've got in the classroom at our school, they've got this, what is it called? It's called Crunch and Sip, where they take a little, carroty snack into the classroom all cut up with their little water bottle. So they've got things that they can have access to all the time. Good. So the kids have been enjoying
never
that.
Had that.
They're
when
really
I
excited.
Went to school.
I know, but, it's just so easy, because I'd get up and I'd make breakfast, which was a meal, and then we'd have leftover breakfast for lunch. Yeah. And then, so I don't have to cook and organise twice a day, and I just stopped doing the baking and the making because we don't need the treats or the snacks. Yeah. Except I will not go without chocolate. I will not go out without chocolate. Like that's pretty much, the 11th commandment. That's it.
Yeah. I'm starting to back off from chocolate again. It's not loving me.
Oh, isn't it loving you?
No. Aww. And I had a podcast with Katrina Kehoe, and we were talking about histamines, and it seems like I just get such a bad histamine reaction whenever I have chocolate. Yeah. So it's not really nice to me at the moment. Well, we should probably finish up here, because we've been going for about 40 minutes. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how things continue on, and thank you so much for telling us all about that. That was it's really exciting. I'm really happy for you.
Siri not available.
Sorry, that's my phone. Siri's talking to me.
Oh, she's giving you a hurry up. There you go. Yeah,
saying, come on.
Thanks for checking in with me, because, it's kind of lonely without the internet.
It would be.
It's kind of, yeah.
Well, we'll hope you get internet on soon so we can do more podcasts.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
And we want,
all right, well, you stay well, hey?
We want to see some photos of your lovely countryside and koalas, so make sure you put them on your Facebook page.
My countryside and my koalas. Yeah, well, I have to get around to that.
Yes.
I will.
Make sure you do.
I will. It's just the uploading thing I've got issues with.
But
that's all right.
Even just sticking a photo on from your phone?
No,
Facebook?
Well, it's pretty good. I get pretty good reception, but I've already chewed through my data in just putting a few things up.
Yeah, we better get off the podcast, you poor thing.
I know. I'll have an email from Optus telling me, I've chewed through my download, da-da-da-da-da. You're going to be paying another $10.
Oh,
no. I've done that 5 times already this month.
Oh, dear. You might have to up your limit.
I will.
Yeah.
Once I work out what we're doing and what's available here. And then I'll be able to change in some way. So, but thanks very much for the chat.
That's okay. Thank you. It was good to catch up, and I hope everyone enjoyed the chit-chat and found it encouraging and helpful, because you never know what you can learn from just chit-chat, right?
Yeah, well, that's right,
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions for Leah or for me, please feel free to post them on our Facebook pages. So Leah's page is Akisis Balance, and mine is Quirky Cooking. And we'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, and also check out the otherwellnesscouch.com podcasts. There's lots of them there, and those birds sound beautiful. Don't they?
They are awesome. The kookaburras are now waking me up in the morning, and I've got the blackbirds, and I know.
Gorgeous.
I know. And I paid like $180 12 months ago to get one of those solar alarm clocks that sort of increases the light in my bedroom whilst I was down in Sydney.
Yes.
So I woke up with this, unnatural sunrise, but still a sunrise with, mechanical bird sounds programmed into it.
Oh, that's
and now
funny.
I don't even have to do that.
You don't need it. You can sell it.
I don't need it.
I'll leave it for Mark. He might need it.
Well, yeah, I brought everything. I brought everything with me. He's just got a suitcase in Sydney somewhere.
Poor man.
The poor little lamb.
Oh, won't be long, and he'll be there.
Oh, I know. He'll be fine.
Oh, thank you so much, Leah, for sharing.
Okay.
Have a wonderful day.
I will.
Get back to your cuppa and book.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
I
Thanks
will.
for
Bye-bye,
listening,
darling.
everyone. Bye.
This has been a production of thewellnesscouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on facebook.com/The Wellness Couch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavour to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.